Welcome back to the Coins Numismatic Series, where history, value, and mystery meet in the palm of your hand. Today we are diving into two of the most fascinating quarters you'll ever hear about, the 1966 and the 1967 Washington quarter dollar. These coins may look ordinary to the untrained eye, but when we explore their details, stories, and collector value, you'll see why they've earned their place in our countdown of top 2 rare quarters. If you've ever wondered whether those pocket change coins from the mid-1960s are worth more than just 25 cents, you're about to find out. Let's begin with the 1966 Washington quarter dollar coin without a mint mark in good condition. The 1966 Washington quarter came into existence during a fascinating turning point in U.S. coinage history. This was a year after the United States Mint officially ended the use of 90% silver in quarters, dimes, and half dollars. From 1932 until 1964, Washington quarters had been made with a composition of 90% silver and 10% copper. But with silver prices rising in the early 1960s and the threat of widespread coin shortages, the U.S. Mint decided to transition to what we now call the clad composition. That meant starting in 1965, quarters were produced using layers of copper and nickel instead of silver. By the time the 1966 quarter rolled around, it was only the second year of this new clad coinage system. This historical context alone makes the 1966 Washington quarter fascinating. It represents the firm establishment of the new era of coinage. Unlike the older silver coins, these clad coins were designed to circulate heavily without being hoarded for their precious metal content. Yet, while their intrinsic melt value dropped dramatically compared to the earlier silver quarters, their numismatic and collectible significance steadily grew. When we look closely at the design, we see that the obverse features the familiar portrait of George Washington, first designed by John Flanagan in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth. His bust faces left, with the word Liberty boldly inscribed above his head. Below the chin, the national motto, "In God We Trust," appears, and the date, 1966, is struck clearly at the bottom. What's particularly notable for collectors is that there is no mint mark. That wasn't an accident. In 1965, 1966, and 1967, the Mint deliberately removed mint marks from coins in an attempt to discourage hoarding and speculative collecting. This was part of the Mint's effort to stabilize circulation during a turbulent time in U.S. coinage. On the reverse, we see the striking heraldic eagle, wings spread wide, perched upon a bundle of arrows, symbolizing strength and readiness. Beneath the arrows lies an olive branch, representing peace. Encircling this powerful design are the inscriptions, United States of America, at the top and quarter dollar at the bottom. Just above the eagle, the Latin phrase, e pluribus unum, reminds us of unity in diversity. This imagery was a cornerstone of American coinage for decades, making the Washington quarter not only functional currency but also a miniature work of art. Now, what about the mintage of the 1966 quarter? An incredible 821,101,500 pieces were struck that year. That massive figure might make you think the coin is common and unremarkable, but here's where things get interesting. With such high production, quality control wasn't always perfect, which has led to fascinating varieties and errors that collectors eagerly hunt for today. These errors can turn an ordinary-looking 1966 quarter into a valuable treasure. Examples include double die obverse, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and transitional errors involving the composition. In some rare cases, coins have been discovered struck on leftover silver planchets from 1964, an astonishing mistake if verified. As for market value, in good circulated condition, a standard 1966 quarter without any unique errors might only fetch between its face value and a small premium, often around 50 cents to $1. However, when preserved in uncirculated or high mint state condition, the value rises dramatically. Collectors will pay significantly more for coins graded MS 65 or higher. Even more spectacular are proof-like examples or error coins, which can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on rarity and demand. Collector interest in the 1966 quarter is rooted not just in its design and errors, but in its symbolic importance as part of the clad transition. Many collectors pursue a complete set of Washington quarters, and the 1965 to 1967 coins without mint marks are essential to completing that run. Additionally, error hunters find this year particularly intriguing because of the experimentation and production quirks of the era. Even a coin in modest circulated condition, like the one you might find in pocket change, tells a story of American coinage policy, economic pressures, and minting evolution. The 1966 Washington quarter dollar may not contain silver, but it embodies an equally precious chapter in numismatic history. Its vast mintage ensures that it remains accessible, but its varieties, condition rarities, and connection to the transition away from silver ensure that it remains a favorite among collectors. Every time you hold a 1966 quarter, you're holding a piece of that transformative history. Now let's move on to the 1967 George Washington quarter dollar coin without a mint mark in good condition. The 1967 Washington quarter is the twin sibling of the 1966 issue, produced in the very same era of economic change and policy adjustments. It was part of the mint's ongoing effort to stabilize coin circulation while transitioning completely away from silver. By this point, the clad coinage system was fully entrenched. Just like in 1966, quarters minted in 1967 were struck without mint marks, a decision that was still in place to reduce hoarding and discourage speculation among collectors. This uniformity across all mint facilities meant that identifying where a specific coin was struck was deliberately obscured. Looking at the obverse, we again see John Flanagan's iconic bust of George Washington, rendered in sharp relief. The inscriptions, Liberty above and, In God We Trust, to the left, with the date, 1967, below, are identical to the 1966 coin. On the reverse, the majestic eagle perches on its bundle of arrows, olive branches curling gracefully beneath, framed by the words, United States of America, and, quarter dollar. Above the eagle rests the motto, E pluribus unum. The design remained unchanged, which means the value of the 1967 coin lies not in radical design shifts but in the historical moment it represents and the condition or errors associated with it. When it comes to mintage, the numbers for 1967 are equally staggering. The mint produced approximately 1,524,031,848 quarters that year. Yes, over 1.5 billion. This makes the 1967 quarter one of the highest mintage quarters of its era. With such enormous production, these coins are readily found even today in circulation, which might make them seem unremarkable at first glance. However, as with the 1966 issue, the sheer volume of production opens the door to numerous varieties and striking errors. Collectors pay close attention to double-die varieties, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and missing letters or numbers. Some of the most valuable 1967 quarters are those with dramatic minting errors, where the coin's unusual appearance instantly catches the eye. Additionally, proof-like examples from special mint sets, often with cameo or deep cameo finishes, are especially prized by advanced collectors. These special mint set coins were issued in 1965, 1966, and 1967 instead of traditional proof sets, giving collectors a way to access higher quality strikes during the mint mark moratorium. In terms of market value, a standard circulated 1967 quarter in good condition still hovers close to its face value, maybe reaching up to $1 in the right market. But once we move into uncirculated territory, the numbers climb significantly. High-grade coins graded MS-65 or better can fetch $20 to $40 or more, depending on eye appeal. Error coins, particularly dramatic ones, are where the big money lies, sometimes selling for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Special mint set coins with flawless cameo or deep cameo finishes are also highly collectible, often commanding premiums far above face value. Collector interest in the 1967 quarter is fueled by both its role in U.S. coinage history and its availability. Because so many were minted, almost everyone has encountered one in their lifetime, making it an accessible entry point for new collectors. Yet within that abundance, there are gems waiting to be discovered. Mint state coins, error coins, and SMS issues that carry far more value than their ordinary counterparts. Collectors love the challenge of sifting through what seems common to uncover what is rare. The 1967 Washington quarter represents both continuity and change. Continuity in that it carried forward the same beloved design that had graced American coinage since 1932. Change in that it stood firmly within the new clad era, cementing the United States' transition away from silver coinage forever. For collectors today, it embodies the excitement of discovery, the appeal of error hunting, and the satisfaction of completing an essential piece of the Washington quarter timeline. And there you have it, the top two rare quarters from the 1960s, the 1966 and 1967 Washington quarter dollar coins. Each may look like just another everyday coin at first glance, but when you peel back the layers of history, design, minting practices, and collector value, they come alive with stories. Whether you're holding one from circulation or hunting for a rare variety, these coins remind us that sometimes the most extraordinary treasures are hiding in plain sight. So next time you come across a 1966 or 1967 quarter, don't dismiss it as spare change. Remember the rich history, the minting quirks, and the collector demand that make these coins truly special. Keep searching, keep collecting, and stay tuned to the Coins Numismatic Series for more fascinating journeys into the world of coins.